This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? It's Tuesday night, so you know what time it is. It's time for another exciting episode of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight's discussion topic, colorism. Yes, colorism, that dirty word. Now let's talk about colorism. Colorism has been plaguing the Americas and beyond since the 1600s to the 19th century, 1900s. So this is something that has been existing for a very long time. Where is this, where does it come from? What's the origin? Well, this is something that was started in the Americas during the slavery time. A fellow plantation master reached out to somebody in the West Virginias to get information as to how to keep his slaves in order. So also to keep them from rising up above against him and challenge. So what happened was he told them, keep them divided. One way to do so is to develop colorism. Now, the light-skinned slaves were allowed to sleep inside the master's house. And the dark-skinned slaves were in the field all day long. So the light-skinned slaves worked in the house, the dark-skinned slaves worked in the field. Now, what happened is that a lot of the light-skinned slaves were sometimes the direct result of rape, of the master going down into the slave quarters and having his way with the slave women. Now, he wanted to keep his children close, and that's why he brought them to the big house. And they was considered to be more valued. So it was the superiority versus inferiority. So the superior versus the inferior, basically. So that's where this stems from. Now, this is not something that just happens in America. This is something that happens in other cultures too. The Latino culture is guilty of this too. And it was recently brought to my attention. Yes, even our white brothers and sisters, they are guilty of this behavior against their own too. The fair of the skin color, the hair, blonde hair, blue eyes, yes, you are considered to be of greater value. That is, as we're referring to our white brothers and sisters of America. But let's talk about it. Let's start it right off. Tanya, what does colorism mean to you? And have you ever been subjected to this behavior, or have you ever witnessed this take place?
It means exactly what you said. The darker skin viewed lower than the lighter skin. And yes, I have witnessed it, and yes, I have been subject to it.
Okay, so at what time in your life was you subjected to this, and did you witness it, and did you experience it?
Let me see. When I was younger, I was subjected to it, not so much against me, but against my cousin because of me. And during my work life. When I was
Mhm.
older and getting into the working field, I was subjected to it.
Okay. So, you care to disclose your complexion? Are you light complexion or dark complexion?
I'm caramel.
So you would be right there on the borderline.
Yeah, I
Um,
think
okay, okay. So next, we're going to go to Delhi. Delhi, have you ever experienced this behavior, or have you ever witnessed it?
I have experienced it in the workplace. It's been going on for many years in my life, but I've always noticed that, not by design, but they made me notice it, whether it was on a job, being darker. I'm caramel myself, a little dark caramel, not light caramel, but I've always been challenged that way. I felt like, superior, high yellow, and it's just been noticeable for me. I never accepted it. I still always shine and still keep moving, but I've always noticed it.
Okay. Next up, we're gonna go to Sean. Sean, same question. Have you ever experienced this behavior, or have you ever witnessed it take place?
I've never experienced it, but I have seen it taking place. And what I mean by I've seen it taking place, I've actually did colorism on myself to where all my life, because I've always been the darkest in any setting that I've ever been in. I mean, I'm as dark as if I don't smile, you won't see me. And so I've always had, if you will, almost an inferiority to all of those around me, because they were always a lot lighter than I was. So I always thought I was the oddball in the group, although I've always, it's weird, but it was my own thinking. Although I was most times the leader in the group, I felt beneath them, that people like them more than they did me because of what they looked like.
Okay, stay there. We're gonna come right back to that. We're going to go to Kiana. Kiana, have you ever been subjected to this behavior? Have you ever experienced it? And if you choose to disclose your complexion.
for someone else. I have a phone call.
One more time.
Can you go to somebody else? I have a phone call.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go to Bird. Bird, same question. Care to share?
I mean, I don't know, when you say colorism, I don't really get it, I guess. I don't know what ism it is, racism, colorism by my color. I don't know. I felt like me going through it my whole life. I mean, I'm not accepted in the Black community as Black. I'm not white in the white, and I'm not Puerto Rican because I don't speak Spanish. So I'm in the matrix on my own. So I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of it, but I don't want no trouble no more.
So you definitely experienced it, but of a different sort. Different sort. All right. We're gonna go to Robert next. Robert. Okay, we'll come back to Robert. Timmy.
Nah, I want to say to my brother, he knows he was always accepted in our family. He knows that for sure. That's my brother for life. He knows that. But
okay.
I never, I don't look at that type of stuff like that. I've seen it, and I've learned to don't pay attention. If you feed fire, then it's gonna continue to burn. But if you don't feed it, then it'll die out. So what I try not to do is feed into, negativity, nonsense that don't make sense, because there's more important issues that's way more important than something as simple as that's petty as that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You care to share your complexion?
For me, I'm brown skin.
Okay. Let's go to Gregory next.
Yes, I experienced it. That time I had to go in the cells and ask them why wasn't no brothers up on the wall. Nah, I'm playing with you. The other day at work, I worked with my boy. He's light skinned. They actually put him on site and they put me on the steel. So I was in the field in the sun, lifting everything heavy, and he was sitting down in the cool area eating ice cream.
That's colorism at its finest. That's colorism in the workplace.
Well, because you're much darker and you ain't gonna get sunburned compared to him. He goes in there, he gonna get sunburned.
So let's stay right there. Gregory, upon learning this, how did that make you feel?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Actually, I tried to sneak off and get me one of those ice creams.
They should have offered you one.
Runaway slave
in the
stuff,
heat.
man.
Right.
All right. Let's go, Robert. You ready to share? Same question. Have you ever been subjected to colorism, and have you ever witnessed it? You have to turn on your mic. Okay.
I'm sorry, I just got back in. I don't know what happened. I was booted out, but I'm gonna tell you this: I don't think that I have been subjected to it. I just didn't really pay it no mind. I mean, I seen it. I seen people of the same race, deal with this person was a little lighter, had straighter hair, more lighter eyes, and they got treated better than the darker person with nappy hair and darker eyes.
So that's what you're experiencing. You care to share your complexion?
Oh, I'm white.
Okay. You are what you feel. Okay, let's go to Josie. Josie, same question. Have you ever experienced colorism? Have you ever been subjected to it? And have you ever witnessed it? You have to turn your mic on. Okay. Kiana, are you back yet?
Sorry, driving.
Yeah, she's in the matrix.
So
yeah, I literally walked out of the store dealing with that. So I guess that depending on your color or your race, you get treated with a different level of respect, or I'm just gonna say customer service skills. I have.
So in other words, I think that she was saying she just dealt with something of that nature. She was in the store and it just actually took place.
okay. Well, we'll come
Exactly
back.
what I was saying.
So you want to finish?
I was finished. I said that depending on your race, I guess you get treated differently, whether it's respect or customer service skills. It's just what we're dealing with.
Okay. Kiana, are you able to share?
Well, yes, the question is, have I ever experienced it and have I ever witnessed it? The answer is yes.
Have you ever been subjected to it?
The answer is yes to both. Yeah, pretty much all my life, I've been a witness to it and have experienced it.
Okay. And what complexion are you?
I'm light skinned.
Okay.
Well, right now, I'm brown. So I have tans, so I am very brown. A lot of people didn't recognize me because of my so-called brownness.
Mm. So she's a chameleon. She's basically one of those salamanders. She's able to switch her color. That can be great. Did I miss anyone? Everyone got a chance to share?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. So
I think you missed Auntie Maria.
Maria, are you online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Have you ever been subjected to colorism, and have you ever witnessed it?
Yeah, I witnessed it. And I don't know if I was subjected, but I probably played a part in it, to be totally honest with everyone on here and with myself. I didn't like dark-skinned guys when I was growing up.
Do tell us why.
I really not want to go into that or whatever, but I told you the other day how I felt about dark-skinned people when I was growing up.
So did they remind you of turds?
No. Well, me and my son felt the same way. When we was growing up, dark-skinned people was mean. And majority of the time, those mean people, they wasn't too cute or they wasn't too clean.
Wow.
That's deep. That's real deep.
Now
that goes back to colorism being part of the
Now,
system.
we're gonna. I'm being honest with myself and being honest with you guys. So have fun.
And that's good, because that's the only way these discussions work.
Evolve.
Yeah. So the rest of you guys, since Maria's being painfully honest, I want to ask you guys this question. So for those of you that said that you have never been subjected to colorism, other than Sean stating that he basically did it to himself. He was the person that basically conditioned himself to think a certain way. So the rest of you guys, are you guilty of colorism? Have you ever participated? Have you ever been the person to initiate such an act? Let's go with Robert first.
Well, I'm gonna ask you once again. When you look at me, my skin ain't white.
Answer the question.
Because I'm gonna tell you just like this. I never had a problem with a Chinese, a Puerto Rican, a white person. I don't care if you was blueberry or strawberry. I got along. I was able to adapt.
So you never mistreated any of your darker complexion peers based upon their color?
I don't think I have. I got dark-skinned sisters and brothers. And if I did anything mean to y'all, we was growing up as kids, and that's what you call cracking jokes and having fun. But to really be prejudiced towards your skin color, how could I be?
Okay. That's fair. Bird, how about you? Were you ever guilty of such a behavior?
I don't believe so. I don't see people as color. So I don't see color in people. I see people in people. I don't believe I have made any judgments, participations in anything based on someone's color.
Okay. Deli.
Damn, I wish you didn't come to me. But I gotta be honest on some things. I'm serious because I'm guilty as a mother. God forgive me. I don't know. For me growing up, I didn't like light-skinned guys. I never did. You know what I mean? I didn't like their skin next to my color. I didn't like the look. I don't know what it is. And, you know, God forgive me, I never liked white guys. Never. You know, in terms of like relationships, any kind of like camp, schools, anything like that. I always, light-skinned people, Caucasian people always made me feel like the aggressor, or just isolating, like the dark cookie or the ugly duckling. I don't know. But so, you know, just like I said, I'm caramel, but more on the dark caramel side. I've grown to like dark men. Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. It is the truth. But no, I'm kidding. I like dark men. I love black men. I don't know if it's because I'm dark or caramel. I can do the caramel, but I won't raise up off the caramel. That's as far as I'll go. And I'm guilty of that.
Okay. So you got a sweet tooth for chocolate. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Kiana.
Yes. So I guess just asking, are we guilty of either being using colorism or participating in the colorism thing? I mean, I guess if I guess if we're gonna be honest, one of the reasons, well, as an adult, I appreciate the fact that I did go to Boston Public Schools, that I didn't have to deal with the, oh, you think you're cute because you're light shit. And I was able to deal with school and not have to deal with stupid people.
That's fair. Okay. So we're going to go to Tanya. Same question.
Have I been guilty of colorism?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Okay. You want to share?
I'm going to say I've been guilty of colorism because I've been subjected to colorism from the girls, you know, from school. You think you cute. You got long hair. All the boys liked me. You know, my work ethic. I get subject to that. So yes, I retaliate. I told y'all I'm petty. When they go low, I go low.
So you gave the ones that were subjecting you to such behavior a run for their money. So is it fair to say if their boyfriends were checking for you, you gave them attention simply because the girls that didn't like you because of your complexion? Did you do it for that reason?
I don't do that. I'm not that girl.
So paint the picture. Don't let me paint it for you.
I'm not that girl. No, it's just that whenever we got into arguments, they tried to come at me, I came at them. And it's like somebody's, like Maria said, they usually uglier, dirtier. You know, they just hating.
Yeah.
And that was my personal experience. So I'm just speaking from my personal experience. I have nothing against dark-skinned guys now. Love them to death.
So let's stay right there with you, Maria. So are you guilty of colorism?
I said, yeah, I played a part of it when I was younger because of the experience, like Tanya just said, that she had, you know, encountered with those complexion people.
Okay. Josie? Gregory, same question.
Yes, I think I've made a prejudice decision. Probably we was outside at night playing tag or something, and we picked our dark-skinned friend because we felt like he was mad black. Nobody wasn't gonna see it. Or we seen somebody light-skinned and we was calling him soft because he was too pretty.
Okay.
Can I just add to that without being rude or interrupting? But I know, like, as kids and stuff, you know, guys were visual. They like girls with long hair or straight hair or little versus little dark-skinned girls with nappy hair, what we would call nappy, or afros, or, you know what I mean? But those were the real queens. And so growing up, for some dark-skinned, you know, little girls, it happened to put them in that box because of that. Boys would like girls that was a little lighter or that had straighter hair or, you know, something like that. And that's what started, you know, to me, growing up and looking back, that's what started a lot of dark-skinned girls having issues with their, you know, what is the word I want to say? Oh, their self-esteem, not thinking they were good enough. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think led to like covering up, the makeup, the weave, all the things that might attract the eyes of the beast.
Okay.
But we're all beautiful though. It doesn't matter the color. We're all beautiful.
So
see, the apple was the natural look. That's what that was. And that's what people are doing now. They going back to the naturalness, not putting in all these chemicals in their hair. They going back to the naturalness of you know, we might have said keeping their hair nappy. It's a style now. You dig? So I think it's just, you know, being natural. I don't think women, your beauty shows in how you present yourself, how you take care of yourself. The makeup is nothing more than a cosmic mask. That's all it is. But your real beauty is within.
okay. So let's go ahead.
Because most of our quote unquote beauty standards have been against European beauty standards. And only in the last maybe 10 or 15 years have we taken our own stand. Like we determine who's beautiful, not Europeans, not the straight hair, not the blue eyes, not the chick with no body, no nothing. That we determine who is beautiful in our own eyes, and we no longer measure ourselves to their standard.
Okay, and that is correct. And that brings me to my next point. So for such a long time, the Europeans have been an influence on what is beautiful and what is not, what is acceptable and what is not. So that was just another clear way to divide the race. That's what kept you separated. If I told you you are superior to them because they look a certain way and because of their complexion, you felt a whole lot better about yourself because it's the person that oppressed you. And if they seem to be showing you some favor, then you thought that you was well off. So, guys, there was certain like societies created based upon complexion, and it was called the Blue Vein Society. Now, this was our lighter complexion brothers and sisters that also later on, after slavery was over, and some of them that escaped and that was of lighter complexion, they were referred to as those that tried to pass. So those were the one that was light skinned, and a lot of them usually, again, was the product of rape. The master raiding the slave quarters and having his way with the slave women. And those children grew up to be light skin, light complexion. And those were the ones that tried to pass. And their families also, there was generations of them that tried to pass because they would not date and they would not marry those that were darker complexion just so they can keep their skin in the family as light as possible. It was pretty much a taboo discussion. It was a dirty little secret to be dark skin back then. So a lot of these families and these individuals got in trouble because when white America learned that they were not one of them, they treated them badly because they felt like they had infiltrated their secret society, so to speak, and that they misled them. Now, are you guys familiar? Have you ever heard of the paper bag test? Anyone?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard of it.
So, can you guys see this paper bag?
Yeah.
Can everybody see this?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to use myself as the test subject. Do you see the color of my skin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it darker than the bag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much darker?
You
How
are
much
a
darker?
Klein dot bar.
How much darker?
I don't know. Maybe 3 days. I don't know.
Okay. You said
You're
a
a
few
little bit
shades.
more brown.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want everybody.
Shades darker than that
Now I
damn
want
bag.
everybody that can see this bag. I want you to do the same test with yourself. Compare yourself to this bag. If you are lighter than this bag, then you would have been acceptable. You would have been a part of the superior part of the race, so to speak. So Sean, go ahead and compare yourself to the bag. So
I'm
Sean,
way darker. I'm way darker than that bag. I'm darker than
Okay.
the writing on that bag.
All right. So we're gonna go on to the next person. Maria, compare yourself to the bag.
I'm right now, I'm the bag, but before I went away, I'm lighter than the bag.
Okay. Gregory, compare yourself to the bag.
I'm way darker than the bag. But I just wanted to say this too. This is crazy because this is like the second time they did that to us, seeing that we were part of the Native American community, and then they ruled us out with the one drop Negro blood by saying we were darker skinned people. So it's almost the same thing with the bag test.
All right. Robbie, go ahead and compare yourself to the bag.
I don't want to say it again, but I really don't have no color then, I guess. Because the inside of my arms, I might be light in the bag, but then you guys gotta tell me I think that I could be darker than that bag.
Someone give him squeeze some lemon juice in his
You
eyes.
were
so
darker than the bag, Uncle Rob.
Well, then that's what I told you. You guys ain't never told me I wasn't Caucasian.
Oh, wow.
Bird, go ahead and compare yourself to the bag.
You ain't never looked in the mirror, honey.
No.
I mean, again, you going on my hand is darker than my chest, my thigh, my whatever. I don't even know who made this stupid theory up that because you're darker than a bag, you weren't accepted as a whatever. And if you were lighter than a bag,
this
who
was a
made
part
that
of the
up?
division.
It's how they made the pyramid
This
scheme,
is how they divided. This is
lower,
how they
middle, upper
divide the
class.
people. Everybody, just humor me.
Wait
Kiana,
a minute,
Timmy. Wait a minute, Timmy. Kiana, go ahead and compare yourself to the bag.
Right now, I'm darker than the bag, but that was before a trip and the summer. And when, if I can keep it as long as I can, I'll still remain that way, but I will eventually go lighter than the bag.
Okay. Jelly?
I'm darker than the bag.
Okay. Timmy?
Yeah. I'm the color of the bag. But
No, you ain't.
No, you're darker than the bag.
Yeah.
Tanya?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know what to say.
What's the comparison? Are you lighter or darker?
I'm a little darker.
Okay. Did I miss Josie? Wait a minute, Timmy. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let Josie go ahead.
I'm darker.
Okay. Did I get everybody or did I miss anyone?
So you got everyone, but answer this question. If you was light in the bag, you fit over here. If you're darker in the bag, you better get over there. But what happens? Right. But what happens when you are those brown paper bag kids? No pun intended. You remember that one?
Again,
What I was going to say.
No, Timmy, let him answer. Let him answer because his children his
This
children was
was
called the
this
brown
this
paper bag kids.
this was a method to divide, a strategy to divide the race. See, our people fed into this nonsense. You
Who
know,
decided that? Who made that decision?
the slave owners, it was a method to keep the slaves divided. Because if they knew if they
They
would
didn't even have
unite,
paper bags
No,
in
the
slave
people
time.
that shaped this very
they did.
society today, our founding
They had
fathers,
paper bags
those
back
type
then.
people.
Yeah.
They had paper bags back then.
Yeah, but when we got introduced to the paper bag was supposed to be to cover up the ugly person's face. They used the paper bag to make Halloween masks and stuff like that.
This is what that's what it
I've
evolved
always
to.
thought that it was to hide the ugliness of that person. They say, you so damn ugly, you need a paper bag over your head. So that's what I really thought the paper
That's
bag.
a little bit later on, Big Joe.
Well, again, it depends on who was deciding what was beautiful and what was ugly. So again, the whole idea of comparing you to a paper bag, a brown paper bag, that was ugly to begin with. The individual that came up with that idea was supposedly from the West Indies. That's where that came from, that idea. That's how.
Yeah, but you never told your viewers that's probably gonna want to know the answer to what I ask. What happens when you're the same color as the bag? Where do you go?
Okay, so if you're the same color of the bag, then you would be a member of the superior part of the division. If you're the color of the bag or lighter than the bag, you would be one of the superior of the race. That's how they divided you. If you was darker, it didn't matter if you was a shade darker, you was not going to be with the superior. You would be inferior.
You were called the same name whether you were dark, brown, or light.
You was.
What was that word?
You was, but there was a distinction.
Exactly.
There was either you was the house or you was the
You get the
field.
ER or you get the A or you get the, whatever. I mean, come on.
But that's where that stems from. But if you guys want more information about it, let's go to the first video. Don't take my word for it. Tech person.
The word colorism was first used by a feminist author named Alice Walker. In an essay that appeared in her 1983 book, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, Walker defined colorism as prejudicial or preferential treatment of the same race people based solely on their color. Colorism disadvantages dark-skinned people while privileging those with lighter skin. In the United States, colorism's roots originated with slavery because slave owners typically gave preferential treatments to slaves with fair complexions. Slaves with lighter skin were assigned domestic tasks, while slaves with darker skin were forced to work outside in the fields, doing much more grueling tasks. Slave owners were partial to light-skinned slaves because they were often family members. Lighter-skinned slaves were favored because they were often the product of a slave owner raping a woman slave, thus creating a lighter-skinned child. While slave owners didn't officially recognize their mixed-race children, they gave them privileges that dark-skinned slaves did not enjoy. Accordingly, light skin came to be viewed as an asset in the slave community. Colorism, of course, continued after slavery was abolished. In the 19th and 20th century, the paper bag test was often utilized in black spaces and in hiring of black people. If someone was the same color as or lighter skinned than a paper bag, they would be allowed in the space or considered for hire. If they were any darker than the paper bag, they would not. Job advertisements from the mid-20th century reveal that African Americans with light skin clearly believed their coloring would make them better job candidates. Light-colored was often listed as a qualification on resumes. Colorism does not only affect Black Americans. Outside of the United States, colorism is related to class more than to white supremacy. The idea that white skin is superior to dark skin derives from ruling classes typically having lighter complexions than peasant classes. While peasants became tanned as they labored outdoors, the privileged had lighter complexions because they didn't. Thus, dark skin became associated with lower classes and light skin with the elite.
Oh, my people, the verdict's in. Dr. Parrish, you SAM, still a man, and be forever. Dr. Parrish, ladies first. SOS, support our sisters, even if you support our sisters only. No pun intended. Scurry yourself over to EmporiumPlus.org, where you will find the latest fashions.
Okay, guys.
Can I
So-
speak on that? That was European philosophy, because the peasants is a word that is coming from the Europeans. When they came over here, they were the peasants that got kicked out of their own kingdom. And when they came over here, they seen the dark, penny copper colored people that were already over here. And when they did the one drop Negro blood, that was one way of separating us. And now you got the bag test after slavery, and people are trying to get jobs now. We're coming out of slavery, and they're still separating us, making it look like we aren't the people that we are. It's a big brainwash thing.
Testify, testify, oh my brother, testify. Can I get a virtual high five, G? There you go, right up there. I couldn't, that was I couldn't have said it better. Now, I told you, don't take my word for it. Robbie, did the video answer your question about if you were the same color of the bag?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so did it give you a greater perspective on what it is? Bird, did you feel better about where it arises from, where it comes from? Okay, I think we might have lost.
I don't know, man. I don't want to believe one person's theory, so it is what it is, you know? I get it.
You're correct about that, Bert. It is a theory, and it is a wicked theory. Again, this is just another way to divide the race. That's what the purpose was. It didn't have any other purpose. It wasn't good. It wasn't positive. It was meant to be negative. So if you feel a certain way about it, if it makes you feel uncomfortable about it, it should. Because it wasn't supposed to make anybody feel good. They did it under the guise that they were showing preference and showing favor to the lighter complexion, but they weren't. Because as you said, they were still called horrible names, no matter what their complexion was. They were still enslaved, no matter what their complexion was. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this colorism in the workplace. Now, Gregory, you said you was just subjected to that as of late. Here in 2022, it's still rearing its ugly head.
The same thing you seen in the video is exactly what happened. My light-skinned friend, he was doing the easy work, and I was in the field doing the hard work. It really happened.
Mm-hmm. So, again, guys, this is not just something that happens in the Americas. This happens in other countries as well. And this is something that happens in a bunch of cultures. So if you care to have a conversation with some of your Latino peers or others, they'll probably tell you that this is so. And if you don't have any Latino peers, do the research. See where this stems from. Okay, let me say this to you guys. Let's go back to this light skin, dark skin thing. When I was growing up, I'm gonna share with y'all, the light skinned girls were always getting picked on. They was always in fights because a lot of times the dark skinned girls did not like them because they felt like that they was being treated better than them. I feel like this is preconditioned. Again, I feel like if you take a group of children of any complexion, any color, and you let them play, they'll play. they will not recognize the difference until an adult comes along and plants the seed. So like the children playing in the field, in the playground, that's the same thing that they did back in slavery, and they continue to do so to this day. As you said, there are certain jobs that are given not based upon your merit and your job ethic. It's based upon who you know, and sometimes still to this day, even though it's not said, is due to your complexion too. Now, I would say this: if, as a employer, if I had to choose between a light-skinned person and a dark-skinned person, I'm choosing the person that's most qualified for the job. If you come in there and the job that you are applying for is working with people, and you come and you have to wear let me say dress attire, ties, button-up shirts, slacks, and shoes, suits, and you come to the interview with a hood on and your pants hanging off of you, and your peer comes in and he dressed the part, well, I'm going to be more inclined to I'm going to interview both, but I got to tell you, I'm probably going to lean more towards the person that took the time to dress the part, because just maybe they took the time to research and learn more about the job, what's required of them. Now, this is not to say that that person that is got on street gear is not more intelligent, but I don't think that they showed their intelligence in that case by dressing like that for an interview. Now,
what if he couldn't afford a suit? What if he couldn't afford? That's all he had to wear. So
notice I said, if you listen to what I said tie, button-up shirt, slacks, or suit. I'm going to tell you this. I don't care what complexion you are. Every man should have a button-up shirt as a part of his wardrobe, and some slacks and some shoes. If you don't, then you should go out and purchase it. But I'm going to ask you this, Deli, have you ever been subjected to anything like that based upon how you was dressed, applying for a job, interviewing, and your complexion?
Yeah, well, I think that's how they just, got that bill passed where Black women and some young Black men can wear their hair any way they want without being judged. I mean, if I'm on an interview and a Caucasian or a Spanish or another ethnicity group has on a skirt and a jacket and a shorts, me as a color girl, if I have no stockings and a weave and some fake nails, that might be too much. It might be too loud, but something more subtle of a different race, a different color, yeah, they're going to get it. I've experienced that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, Tanya? You got to turn your mic on.
Sorry. Yes, I sure have in the restaurant industry. I work for the fine dining restaurant. Myself and another young lady, I was the breakfast manager, but we both was to share the title of event coordinator when they had events in the restaurant. She would always book the events. We were supposed to share in booking the events, and then I referred someone there and she took the event, or they gave the event to her, because I'm not trying to be racist, but she was white and I'm Black, and it was a fine dining restaurant where the majority of the people who come in there were not my complexion, I'll put it that way. And they never gave me the opportunity to show what I was capable of doing. We were supposed to share in the tips and everything. So basically, I would get edged out of a lot of jobs until I gave my daughter an event there, and I did the coordinating, I did the decorating. You know, the way that I did that restaurant for my daughter was high class, and they was impressed. But by that time, I was ready to go. I left.
Because they showed you,
so I left.
They showed you their true colors, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean, what about you?
I actually, years ago, one of the jobs that I got, I actually got it off of the fact that I was dressed well and smelled good. And the actual interviewer even told me that's the reason why I even got the job.
Well, there you have it. Josie, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you been treated differently in the workplace based upon what you say is due to your complexion? Have you seen other people of lighter complexion treated differently, probably given promotions, and you've been passed over?
I feel as if, like, just speaking as a dark-skinned person, because it's so commonly the attitude, aggressive, I think that because it's just learned behavior, or it's projected onto you. So sometimes I just feel like you dark-skinned people tend to, I guess, give that what Maria was speaking of earlier, the attitude and mean, you know. So yeah, in the workplace, I definitely receive the feedback, you know, or the treatment. I also think that sometimes somebody said something about weave and nails done, and to add on to that, jewelry, you know, all of those things. When you go into an interview, they look at you, and I feel as if they might be passing judgment. But let alone all of that, for you fair-skinned people, I also think that I'm getting judged because of my skin.
Mm-hmm. So if you never been subjected to it, so you would not think it's a problem because you never endured it. But for those that have been subjected to it, it's real. It exists. You can't explain it away. Maria?
Yeah, so I definitely been subjected to that. When I finished school, we had mock interviews. And in that mock interview, they wanted you to wear, you know, as you was getting dressed to go to a regular interview for the job that you was gonna interview for. So I came in, which I thought nothing was wrong with my outfit. I had on black slacks, a silk shirt, and I had on some black and tan boots that went to the color of my shirt. Had the interview, everything was fine in the interview. But before I left, she said to me, you know, I would suggest that you don't wear shoes like that you wear like penny loafers or something when you go to your interview. And this is my first time ever even hearing of such thing as wearing penny loafers when you go to your interview. So after I left her office, when she was Caucasian, I went back downstairs and my professor asked, how did it go? And I told her it went fine, but she told me don't wear these shoes. She looked me over and she was like, what's wrong with your shoes? I said, nothing. I don't feel like the heels too high. I don't feel like they too much, but she thought they was too much. And just to keep it real, I wore that same outfit to interview for the job, and I got the job. And in that job interview, she kept telling me, you look so nice. I love those shoes and this, and that. She was Spanish.
Okay, so in that situation, it sounds like their bias is what led to that. So because you were of lighter complexion, there wasn't no so-called favor as they lead you to believe in that situation. So that the very opposite happened in your situation. You wasn't shown favor because you was light complexion.
I think she was just too modest to come out and say, "I like your shoes." I think they really look great on you. That's what that was. Because she said it after the fact. She said it after the fact.
I think she was in control over a power trip. You know, when people start talking about your power to the point where your shoes are just not to my liking, that's kind of sad. I mean, like, you didn't see anything else but my shoes.
See, so that goes back to the age-old adage where, again, some people's their biases are just going to show no matter what. See, I might show you favor because of your complexion, but again, as Bird stated, there are some that no matter what your complexion is, they're going to treat you a certain way because they're preconditioned to do so or because they simply choose to. I'm going to go to Robert next. Robert, have you ever been shown favor in an interview based upon your complexion? Or have you been treated badly because of the way you was dressed?
Neither. I haven't experienced it. I might have been treated favor based on my skills, but not because of my complexion.
You're fortunate. You're fortunate. Let's see where I can go to. Gregory.
I don't know if it's true, but I definitely felt like that on an interview a couple of times. When I looked around, I said, "Hey, I got braids. This guy looks. We're both dressed the part, but I'm just feeling like because I'm darker skinned, I'm not gonna get this job."
So you already went in there with that mindset that you wasn't going to get it because of your complexion, or
no,
because
it was just sitting there and seeing the interviewees, everybody that is getting the interview, and then you're looking around and you're just thinking like, "Hey, maybe I'm not gonna get it because I don't look the part." Well, I look the part, but I don't look the way that they want me to look. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm. So
again, dark-skinned people always had to work harder to prove themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's that esteem thing. And it stems back to, again, what was accepted. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's what they subject you to. And like I said, I feel like maybe dark-skinned people are angry. Maybe they do have a different persona or attitude than light-skinned people. We don't know.
Because they have to work hard.
Exactly.
They have to do so much more.
Like trash. So I could see it being of self. I mean, like, seriously.
Could I ask G Lacey this? Because I know some people go to job interviews and they have on what do they call those things? Wave caps and earrings in the ears that
no. See, look, because I went to medical school too, so I know not to wear your jewelry to an interview or a wave cap. Your hair should be presentable. These are just things that they want you to do on an interview anyway.
That is a bunch of bull crap, because your ability and your skills has nothing to do with the clothes that you got on. That has nothing to do
but
with
because
it.
the way society has
that's why I think it's a bunch of bull.
They want you to look formal. They want you to look this way. It's a way that an upper class person would behave.
It's called preconditioning.
And paint this picture. You got a man over here. We didn't even say he got a suit on. He got jeans, a nice button-up shirt, and some shoes or some boots on. Then you got this other dude to come in. I'm going for the same job interview. I got holes in my daggone jeans on my shorts. I got a t-shirt with a piece of grease stain on it. And, and I got me a baseball cap on. I'm going to get this job. You think that it doesn't have something to do with the clothes you wear?
It
Uh,
shouldn't.
it
It
does.
shouldn't.
It has a lot
It
to do
shouldn't.
with how you're dressed. But again, what we're talking
Listen,
about tonight.
somebody that don't got something, trying to get something, you ain't gonna give them a job because of the way they're dressed. How they supposed to better themselves if you ain't gonna give them a chance, or if that person you think highly of that person, you say, okay, I'm gonna give you this job and I'm gonna take you to go to the store and get you some clothes so you can look presentable. That's what somebody
That's when your family and your friends step in and help you out before you go to the job interview.
Yeah, because first impressions.
You borrow some stuff.
First impressions is important.
Yes.
And guys,
That's just the way society works.
And can we get back to the colorism? Because
let's not lose focus, because that was just a scenario, and the scenario was based upon if you was mistreated due to your color, not just with the clothes. I just gave that as an example. That's how what people often equate the mistreatment due to because of the way you are dressed. That's what happens in a lot of situations. But tonight we're talking about colorism. So you know what? I think you guys need more educating whereas this is concerned. Tech person, you want to go ahead and roll the next video?
It's something that I don't usually talk about because I'm afraid that I'm making people uncomfortable. It's something that affects me in almost every aspect of life.
There's something about having dark skin on a woman's body that shapes the way she moves through the world. There's something about having darker skin on a male body that shapes the way in which he moves through the world. It has real life stakes.
From what I've seen growing up, dark skin equates to being poor, dirty, ratchet.
They tend to be the bad guys in Tyler Perry movies. Straight from the border.
That doesn't even make any sense. I'm not deemed as beautiful, therefore I am not beautiful. And those two are not really mutually exclusive.
Could it be that something as early as colonization or slavery is primarily responsible for our beauty standards today? We're talking about who works in the field and who works in the house. We're also talking about rape, the rape of slaves to produce people who are known as mulattoes or mixed race. These standards of beauty travel. Eurocentric standards of beauty travel.
In the Dominican society and our culture, they have a phrase that's like mejorando la raza, advancing the Dominican population and making sure we're going into how they say the better. If you're lighter, you're bettering the race and you're bettering the island versus if you're just being you.
I would get called the blackness. One joke that really stuck with me was like, oh, Edgar's so black that when he leaves a car, the check engine light turns on. That was a reference to my skin being as dark as oil. I felt ugly being of a darker skin tone. So I tried to gel my hair, or I started listening to skater punk music. So I tried culturally to lighten myself, if that makes sense.
I went on a trip to Korea with my mom. Some woman walked up to my mom and she asked, "Why is your daughter so dark?" In Korea, you have to be pale, and I almost felt like a foreigner and not so much Korean anymore.
When we turn off the lights, they say, "Oh, Salorm, where did you go?" Or, "Oh, you're really pretty for a dark-skinned girl." Are you saying that my race and just the fact that I am black, is that not attractive in general?
I remembered one time that I wanted to be an angel in a parade. At that time, they were like kind of racist, you know, they didn't like black people to be angels. And my mommy got kind of freaked out. She was going like, "Please don't, you cannot be an angel because they're gonna laugh at you." I said, "But mommy, I am an angel." And finally, I was an angel. And I was the only black angel walking in the street. And my mommy was so proud about it, and I was proud too.
My mom started buying me a cream called Fair & Lovely. I was in 3rd grade when I started using bleaching creams. And the whole general idea was, if I'm lighter, I'll have a better life. I'll find somebody that's gonna love me. There would still be light and dark patches on my body and my face. It's painful, it would hurt, and I started breaking out in like bad rashes, and no one said anything. I had to stop it myself.
How do we fix this? We think critically about colorism. We think about where it began and where it begins and ends with us.
I think change starts with providing more diversity, you know, providing more examples of people that look like you.
If you look at telenovelas, they usually cast the dark-skinned person as the villain. And if you never met a Latino before, you're gonna somewhat think that.
So in Japanese media, I honestly don't think I've ever seen a darker skinned female. I feel it would be nice to see a change.
It needs to start within our own culture, where we can't have Will Smith filling in every slot for Black people. Giving dark-skinned people roles that are not only supporting roles, but leading roles.
I mean, a legit badass 007 Latino James Bond, that'd be pretty dope. I'm just saying.
If I could give a message to someone like me,
Who's kind of looking at himself and feeling insecure.
Just know, baby, you beautiful.
Believe in yourself.
Just be you.
You are perfect just the way you are. That's something that no one has ever told me.
And your skin color is a gift. It's never been a blemish or a problem.
when you grow up and you look in the mirror and you're proud of who you are, it will make sense and all the other voices will go away. And all that's gonna be left is you.
Hey, did you guys hear about that store online? One Stop Shop? EmporiumPlus.org. Go over there now, where you can find the latest fashions. And the Dr. Parrish Youth Serum, Still a Man, a Dr. Parrish Ladies First, SOS Support Our Sisters, and Envy Forever. Go, gravitate to the fashions that will make you look better.
Well,
Dave, Dave.
Go ahead, Robert.
That video, it made me realize. I guess I was guilty of doing that to someone, and maybe others too. When they said the check engine light came on, that only brought me back to one person. I used to call him Oil all the time. So when
See,
they
I
spoke
said it earlier.
volumes in that video.
We used to pick the dark-skinned person for tag at night because he was so black nobody could see him.
Yeah, there's some things that was being said. So I'm guilty in some ways, you know, but it was amongst my own family.
This is a sensitive subject for the colored race.
Yeah, but did y'all see all the dark-skinned ones? They all had their hair looking natural. Afros, some had looking in a nappy stage, and look like, you know, what they're doing today.
So,
you know,
that I think that is largely in part is due largely in part to there has been a shift. Again, what we now consider to be acceptable, what is beautiful, it's we don't allow a lot of I say the mature individuals don't allow outside influences, or at least we try not to. We don't allow them to dictate, to define who we are. However, I'm going to say this to you guys because it's what's needed to be said. So if you grew up in a family and everybody in your family is light-skinned, you may or may have not been subjected to it within your home, within your family circle. But outside of your family circle, you've been ridiculed, you've been ostracized because you're lighter than others. The dark-skinned people of your community, and let's start with your peers and the kids and stuff like that, you are going to be singled out because of your complexion. Now,
those are growing pains. I call those growing pains, especially when you're a kid. You're a kid.
Well, no, those aren't growing pains because growing up, it was just me and my cousin, one of my cousins that I was really, really close with. We was in the same house a lot of our childhood, and I'm lighter than she. I have longer hair than she. You know, they consider me prettier than she. And so my aunt and my uncles doted on me a lot more than they doted on her, even in our adult life, that to the fact that whenever I went home to visit, they was always all over me, doting on me, wanting me to talk to her about the direction her life was going in. It got so bad to the point that the girl started having issues with me. We were tight, you know what I mean? It got to the point that she hated to see me come around.
Mm-hmm.
She was being compared to you. She was being compared.
So that's the other side of the equation. So if everybody in your family is dark complexion, there may not be any issue until you go outside your home. There may not be, but there might be some issues, some colorism within your family structure due to the fact that you may be the darker of the dark. Because I think that when you grow up in a family where there's several shades of brown, yeah, the ones that are of lighter complexion, I don't think they deal with the whole colorism as much as the person just of darker complexion. Because again, those are the lighter complexion throughout the history, they have been shown favor. So I think that people are preconditioned. So Kiana, you know how you always say that trauma is in our DNA?
Yes.
So I feel like that's the same thing with this whole colorism. It's like it's something
trauma.
that's passed down.
It's a trauma that's passed down. It's a trauma that has been passed down to slavery, and it's a trauma that is well. As much as people don't want to say they see color, they don't. It still plays an integral part of our community to this day.
It certainly does. And it's just like all the other prejudice in the world. It's an ugly thing. It's not good. Colorism is just another form of prejudice. You're prejudiced towards the person because of their complexion, be it lighter or darker. It does exist. It's a sensitive topic, but like most things in our culture, we feel like if we don't talk about it, it'll go away. Or if I don't admit that it exists, then it's not happening. So I feel like these are discussions, these are topics that we have to have. You know, they're sensitive. I mean, I'm gonna go back to my brother Sean. Sean, as a grown man now, and you have morphed into your grown and sexy stage, do you feel better about yourself now than what you did when you were younger?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've gotten over that era back when I was maybe like 23. So like before then, that's where I was. But from 23 up to current day, I've been very comfortable within my skin. I've never felt, like anyone was superior to me, any, color, any genre, gender, anything like that. Okay. So I've been fine since 23. I've been fine.
See, that's beautiful. And we need people like you to share that because that shows growth. But I have to ask you, what brought about the change? What brought about that level of comfort with your color, with your complexion, with your skin?
Relating to the stereotype that they put on Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, because before Wesley came along, there was Sidney Poitier. He was one of the more dark complexion leading men. Mm-hmm. And after a while, that wasn't like that in there wasn't really no leading men on the big screen. Sidney Poitier was in the what they call black exploitation films. You know, yeah, they take the lead in those.
Him and Bill Cosby.
But then when you come to the crossover films, we had Billy D. Williams. That was considered to be acceptable. And I have to ask you guys, what complexion was Billy D?
It was chocolate.
It was caramel.
That was safe.
Caramel.
He was safe. That was acceptable. You see? That was acceptable. Now I'm gonna go to Josie. Josie, are you still with us?
He's Jamaican too, though.
Josie?
Yeah.
So now again, same thing. Now that you have matured into your grown and sexy stage, how do you feel about yourself and feel about those that would try to make you feel less than who you really are, that would judge you by the color of your skin as opposed to the person, the beauty within?
Well, I've always been confident in myself. I don't even think that there's been days that, yeah, I might look in the mirror like, why is my legs lighter than my face, you know? But I'm dark skinned. That's what I am, you know? I've accepted it. I love it. What do they say? The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Very people who were probably making fun of my color, you know, or even looks. Those are the same very people now that I am grown and sexy trying to holler at me, and I don't find you attractive.
Because to be honest with you, the problem never lied within you. It was them. Because they was allowing other people to influence them what they deemed was acceptable.
Exactly.
We're gonna go
and to Josie, what she was saying is that, you know, I've always said how you carry yourself and how you portray yourself with confidence is gonna, you know, it's gonna show on the outside. And what you do is, hey, this is what I am on the outside. This is what it is. You either love it or you don't. That's the bottom line to it.
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
So
exactly.
I'm gonna go to Deli next. Deli, again, now that you have morphed into your grown and sexy stage of life, how do you feel about your complexion, your color, your skin?
Well, first of all, I want to reach out to my sister Josie. You are a beautiful Black queen. I love your skin. And yes, you've always been confident. Good for you, because that's how you should be. And also reflecting with Sean, I got over that stuff when I was in my early 20s, you know, as I grew closer in the Lord and to myself. You know, God created us all equal. We're all beautiful in our own way. He didn't make any mistakes, and we're all supposed to be different colors, size, and shape. So, right, listen to this anatomy. If God has the whole world in the palm of his hand, right, he's got the whole world in his hands. Well, open the palm of your hand, and as you look at the palm, you see all these ligaments, which is your fingers, right, and they're all connected to the palm. Right? And if we, the people, are the fingers, some of these fingers, you know, they're all different shapes. Some are small, some is tall, but none of them are the same sizes. You understand? Mm-hmm. And that's the adversities and all the stuff we talk about, our colorness, our Blackness. These are the things that we go through in life, ups and downs with our fingers. But at the end of the day, it all goes back and connects to the palm. He's got the whole world in his hands. So I'm very confident in myself. You know, I don't need any affirmation or clarification from anyone. I found my love. Besides me loving myself, I found the love. So I don't need anything else. I'm assured. So I can walk in confidence. I can be myself at all times, not worried about if you don't like. You understand? So I'm very good. With the topic that we're talking about tonight was then, but the person I am today, it doesn't affect me that way. And even when I do see it, I'm able to speak upon it in a humble way so that I can show somebody else, you're not better than me by looks, by character, by anything. We're equal. We're sisters. We're brothers. We're the same, in that sense.
Well said, well said. Duchess, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So for all the so we'll go back to, because you said you were spared of such ignorance because you was allowed to.
No, I wasn't spared. I mean, I didn't have to deal with it in a school setting. That doesn't mean I was spared. Like
okay.
I've heard, oh, you think you're cute because you're white. And I always have to say, I went to a predominantly white school. White people will tell you in a minute you ain't white. You do not belong. So that annoys me to this day when people say that or equate that because you're light skinned, you're white. No, I'm not. I know who I am. I've never needed anybody's validation or confirmation to validate me. And
like
so
is it safe to say you are secure with who you are?
yeah, I feel like I've been that way for a long time. But yeah, I don't need anyone to affirm who I am, how I am, because I do have a relationship with God. And I grew up being confident. My parents told us that, we were good, not just pretty, but we were good people. And that's who you need to be. More than your complexion, you need to be a good person.
Like it. Well put. Brimage. So because you said you wasn't subjected to colorism, and now at this stage in your life, are you comfortable with the colors, with your skin and the person within? Do you still feel like that you treat people as you did before learning now, or do you feel like you know enough that you would administer the necessary change?
Well, let's get straight to me treating someone with like name calling. I try not to do that anymore. I mean, I recognize that I used to call him tar on the street, oil. And I know that was wrong, but that was me just being that arrogant a-hole at times. I made jokes all through the beginning of this podcast. What color is my skin? Did you see my color of my skin? Because for me, I know who I am, what color my skin is, what nationality I am. If someone asks me what color my skin is, I'm gonna be an a-hole and say what color it looks to you. I'm not white. I never looked in the mirror because I don't need to tell you what color my skin is. You can see that clear as day, and you can hear it through my voice. Me being prejudiced to my own kind, know I have love for my people, but I wouldn't want my people to act like a-holes either, because then that's when the love start drifting away. So no, I'm not ashamed of who I am, and I'm not ashamed of who my sisters and brothers are. Like Deli said, I feel that we're all as one. And that's just how I feel.
Okay. Mr. Lacey.
I think shouts out to you guys from the generation before me. I think you guys actually did an excellent job at paving the way for our skin color as a whole. Doesn't matter if you're light skin or black, to be a cool it thing. So me growing up, I never really had a problem with the skin I was in because we were always looked at as cool kids. So now growing up, even when I learned a little bit more and seeing that we were treated a little different by getting out there in the world and society and actually working and stuff, I've learned that my melanin protects me from the sun. My hair is kinky for a reason. It protects me from this. It just is more power to me. I know more about my skin.
So you're more secure than what you once were.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Timmy.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I never dealt with nothing like that. I've always been cool with I've always been accepted of my color of skin, and you want to be. I was more like an educator to I have friends that wanted to be my color, and I tell them, listen, with your color is your color, my color is my color, right? And you wouldn't want to trade places with me, and I wouldn't want to trade places with you, because I like my upbringing, that with everything that I went through in life made me to what I am today, to be able to say, a lot of stuff don't make no sense to me. A lot of things that people go to left on is just ridiculous to me. So colorism is stupid to me. That's the way I look at it. It's stupid. I've never looked at nobody any different. I've had Caucasian friends, and my family is a big melting pot of different nationalities. So what the hell are migrations about? Our family is multi-nationality. Come on. So
Okay.
that's not even in my label. Now what I would say is I get ignorant towards those who act ignorant towards me. So if you come off on call me a nigga, then I'm gonna call you a cracker, and I'm gonna call you a couple other things. So I'm like Kiana. If you insult me, then I'm back with revenge to hurt your feelings just as well as you thinking you hurting mine. But I'm really trying to go in on you, because you can't hurt my feelings.
All right, that's fair. Maria, still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask you the same question as I asked everybody else. Now that you have morphed into your grown and sexy stage of life, do you still have these biases concerning the darker complexion of brethren and sistren?
No, I don't. I got a vanilla baby and I got a chocolate baby. So I wouldn't want either one of them feeling different from the other. And I've been stopped feeling that way about dark-skinned people or whatever. My son's father is brown-skinned.
All right, that shows growth. But I want to touch base on one more part of this colorism. So,
hey, what about me,
Tanya?
I'm not grown and sexy.
You're beyond grown and sexy. So let's get to you, Tanya. Let's talk about you. So now at this stage in your life, do you still have are you still plagued by some of those fears, those issues that you had early on in life concerning colorism?
No, I do not. I recognize that we all are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, and I lead by the Spirit.
All right.
That's how I interact with people, by the Spirit.
That's I see. I count on you to get right to the point. Now, but I will say this, ladies. Now, before we're gonna jump into this real quick, and I want you women to be honest about this because you all women of color. I didn't ask Bird because I don't think Bird's with us anymore. I think that we lost him. Bird, are you still with us? Okay, so Bird's not with us. Okay, so ladies, this is what I know women of color to be guilty of. Either you hated on your lighter skin sisters, or you hated on your dark skinned sisters, or I know for one thing for certain, this is one thing that women of color agreed upon. You women have all felt ostracized, betrayed when your male counterpart would date someone outside of the colored race. Did it make you feel lesser? Let's go with Kiana first.
Did it make me feel? Does it make? I don't feel. I mean, I have a husband of 21 years, so I don't feel lesser for anything. I don't like when Black men purposely do not date Black women. That annoys me tremendously because you have a Black mother, you have a Black sister, you have Black grandmother and aunt. So if you purposely don't date inside of your race, that means you hate your race and you have issues.
Like it, right to the point. Deli?
I don't agree with her. Not always do men of color have issues, but they're missing and lacking something. Some are more controlled in their mindset. I think Black women are very, very strong women, and you're right. Black men came from Black mothers, and as I said, Black women are very strong, and so a lot to me of the brothers, they can't take that. They can't deal with that realness, that I just still say it's the realness. They can't take too much of that, So to me, they hide. They hide from being who they really are, what they can really deal with. You know what I'm saying? I never like to see a Black man with a white woman. God forgive me. I don't like it. I never will until I can mature in that. But I'm not mature. I'm still ignorant in that. I don't like it.
Okay. Tanya?
Yes.
How you feel about that?
Well, considering that I have mixed children, I have mixed cousins, for me, love has no color. And if that's what the man is gravitating towards, I would say this: there are some Black men who purposely date white women for a controlling aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, but I'm not going to say that all Black men who specifically want to date white women are like that. For me, love has no color. If she white, if she orange, if she green, if she's purple, if she's treating you right and treating you the way you deserve to be treated, and you doing the same for her, I have no problem with that.
Okay. Josie? Josie, are you still with us?
Yeah. Okay, so do I have a problem with African American guy dating a Caucasian woman? Or just outside of it, like Spanish, Chinese? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't want to keep it in just one race. I don't think I necessarily have a problem with it, but when people present it as
this is why I deal with them versus you or us. That's when I guess that we have a conversation. I don't necessarily know if I want to converse with that person on their beliefs as to why they feel they want to date outside the race because X, Y, and Z of African American women. That's your choice. I know some strong Caucasian women, some strong Asian women, some strong Spanish women. It goes on. I don't think that it's about your color. I think that it's about you. So that's what I would have an issue with. Other than that, I don't have an issue with dating outside of your race.
Okay, Maria?
Pretty much what Josie said, to each his own. If you want a white girl, pink girl, purple girl, that's your business. But when you try to make it seem like you date this race because of how a black woman how a black woman acts, then I might have a problem with that. Not might, I will have a problem with that. We need to, because your mama's black.
Okay, so everybody get close. Little huddle time, little kumbaya. So this is gonna help you grow. So I have a theory. I feel like that when it comes to the colored woman, the reason why some feel as if this is an act of betrayal because it stokes the colorism fire. All that preconditioning where it made you feel a certain way early on, it resurfaces. Or it's something that you are now subjected to that you weren't subjected to before. So if you're the light-skinned woman that was always chose because of your lighter skin, now they have chosen someone lighter than you. And for the person that is of darker complexion and you weren't chosen because of the color of your skin, now not only are you in a situation where the lighter woman of color is being chosen, now it's a woman of fair complexion outside of your actual race. So, but in life, it's about association. We often do things so that we can fit in, so we can get ahead. We aspire to be greater than what we once were. So I think that's why a lot of times people do stuff like that. Even in the act of fueling and continuing colorism, I think people do that because that's a means to keep you down and build themselves up. I think that people need to talk about this. And if you feel like that you've been wrong due to this, then you should confront the person that has wronged you. However, I do not refer to myself as Black American anymore because I'm not going to conform to what people say I am or what group I should fit into. So I would say this to you guys. Black is a very dark word. It's a means to vilify you. We're people of color because we are of all different shades of brown, be it the darkest color of brown. I don't think that any of us truly resemble the color of black. So I don't think as a whole we should be referred to as Black Americans. I think that's another way to keep us divided and to keep us down. Because when you refer to Black, it just has such a dark, ominous aura, history, definition. So I don't think that should define us. We have enough issues to deal with just because of our color. So
can I disagree?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna disagree because just because someone else has made something because it benefits them to put Black down doesn't mean I'm going to drop it because they said it's bad.
Right.
Well,
I'm proud.
Again,
Yep.
I think that
Take control of the narrative and don't allow them the power to make you think that something that you've been called all your life or whatever is bad.
I like the fact that it makes me stand out different from others.
So again, I think that you guys did like to equate to that that term. You know, y'all in a better place than I am, whereas that is concerned. I'm not there. I don't know if I ever get there where I'll be comfortable with it because of the dark history that comes with it. But I'm gonna ask you guys to do me a favor. Help nurture me. Help me get to that point, because I'm honestly telling you guys I am not there, and I am uncomfortable with being referred to as that and other things. And to be honest with you guys, it might have something to do with the origins of colorism. It really might have something to do with that. It may be because I'm the at the darker shade of that paper bag. It might be something to do with that. I am not certain. So I'm going to pray on it. And again, I'm going to ask all you guys to help me get to that level of discernment that you guys are currently. But I'm going to say this in closing so we can wrap this up. Mary J. Blige, beautiful woman of color, very talented. She has a lot of songs. Right now, she has a song, and I think that all of you guys should download it, listen to it. It's called Good Morning Gorgeous, and I will everybody, including the males in attendance, tomorrow morning when you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth and you're washing your face, and I want you to say, "Good morning, gorgeous." Because
I done said that a lot. Said it a lot. Listened to it a lot. I done drowned her song underneath the toilet bowl in the tub. It's gone. It's a beautiful song.
Okay, so let's not taint it by calling it toilet water. We're gonna end that. Everybody, just make a personal promise to yourself tomorrow morning when you get up and look at yourself in the mirror. Just say, "Good morning, gorgeous." This has been a Still a Man podcast. Thank you. Good night.